Hello, welcome to this week's FX update. It was pretty quiet last week in the currency space, so not a great deal to report. Action appears to be elsewhere really. We'll start off with dollar CAD. I had a minor positive the week before, but it wasn't a support, and really very quiet, just ambling sideways. Dollar index is probably the one that's the most interesting. We've had this very important level at 95.84 basis the futures, and we had a bullwhip signal the week before, although again it wasn't a support. The important thing really is we managed to make a weekly close back above that monthly level, and so far today we've held that level as well by a couple of ticks. So there is a fair amount of noise above. 97.19 right at the top there, so it looks like any progress, if it's going to be made, is going to be pretty slow. Ideally, I don't want to see a close back below 84. If you do, we're just back in sideways again. Move across to the euro dollar. There's a minor timing signal trying to build today. On its own, it's not enough. If anyone was short, it would say, okay, take at least some partial profits. But unless it actually occurs at a support or resistance point, or is in combination with something else, then it's not enough to be actionable. But a minor positive there. Pound was different in that we had another negative signal on Friday with an expansion of range. So what I mean by that is we managed to go below the third range deviation pivot down. So that tells me that it's more powerful than a normal signal. We're a little bit down this morning. Again, all things Brexit. I think there's another deadline coming up, but it's probably going to be choppy. It's worth looking at the futures just to see whether that has occurred at a level, and it hasn't. However, what is likely to happen is Thursday's high is going to become an important reference point above. There is a little bit of room there for it to fall. Quickly go across to the euro pound. And not surprisingly, that produced a positive signal. Again, not at support, but it means that really there's no permission to be short if you were involved in that signal on the 11th of January, which broke the weekly level. So no longer any permission to be short, not enough really to feel like you should be getting long. Dollar yen. If we think about what the stock market's been doing, which is roaring upwards, dollar yen has been relatively muted. What is important though is that spike low around Christmas New Year has meant that the weekly, what was resistance at 110.23 has disappeared because it's moved to the bottom of the trend. So that has opened up space for it to rally some more. The initial target would be 111.41. I'll do the futures just to see if there's anything different there, and there isn't really. There's plenty of space. So we had the negatives from the week before, and there's room for it to go back and attack those lows once more. Let's move across to Aussie, Kiwi, etc. Said that Aussie and Kiwi were probably had been the strongest. The Aussie was pretty quiet last week. It's flirting around this 71.59 point. It's not respecting it. However, what has happened is this weekly level, which goes from way back, 88.48, so I'd have to scroll a long way back to find that, has moved to the lows, not surprisingly, with that spike lows. So it means that that low at 67.00 is pretty important. Do the Kiwi. The Kiwi's been a bit weaker than the Aussie. We've just been drifting lower. That diamond, all that does is tells us that the previous uptrend, the buy signal that we had before, the uptrend had come to an end, and it had come to an end on a 120-minute chart. Very important level, 66.75. Make a daily close below there, and then all the pressure is back on again. And that's sort of showing up a little bit in the cross, not a great deal. we had the positive from the week before, then we had something tell us to get out, and we sort of made new highs for the trend. So it's telling us that the Aussie remains stronger than the Kiwi. There is no resistance anywhere near, and obviously a major support of 104.94. Okay, we'll leave it there. Pretty quiet, as I said. We'll see if anything develops. If anything big comes up during the week, I'll do another update. Okay, thank you.